My name is Sara Diniz. I'm a brand manager for Venus at Procter Gamble. Procter Gamble is the world's largest consumer goods company, and they have a huge, amazing portfolio of brands. Things you've heard of like Tide and Downy, Gillette and Pantene, Swiffer and Mr. Clean. I work on a global brand. Venus is available in multiple countries around the world. As the brand manager, I'm responsible for really understanding who our consumer is and making sure I delight him or her every day. So that means I need to understand consumers not just in the US, but consumers in Russia and England and China. So what that entails might be a day of consumer research. I might be in a focus group or walking with a consumer as she shops or visiting her home to really understand what her habits are and what her desires are. I then need to translate that. So I'll be working with R&D to make sure we have the right formulas or the right product that will fit her needs, and then ultimately working with all of our creative advertising agencies to make sure we communicate that to her in a way that is compelling and easy to understand. I speak about 5 to 6 languages.
好，我觉得很好的建议。
And the reason I say 5 to 6 is because I speak several to varying levels of fluency. For work, I travel to a few different countries that are our biggest markets. Depending on the types of projects I'm working on, I may travel there to meet with consumers or to understand the local market. I also get to travel domestically across the US to meet with our partners and to also meet and talk to new consumers. The thing I'm most excited about my job is getting to learn and understand the consumer. To be honest, I didn't know about this career when I was in high school or college. But when I look back at the kinds of activities I chose, I realized that I was always working towards this path. I was honing my communication skills, I was learning about cross-cultural understanding, and all of that has really prepared me for this job today. When I was younger, I was always very internationally curious. So from a fairly young age, I was eager to travel and explore. When I was in high school, I spent a year abroad in Spain as an exchange student, which was awesome, and I got to learn Spanish. But I also was living in a community where they speak a dialect. So without realizing I was going to, I learned another language called Catalan. And that started off a whole career and lifetime of travel and adventure and learning, which led to studying Chinese in college and living abroad in China, career opportunities in Costa Rica, studies in Germany and Israel, and I think that drive is ultimately what led to my global career today. In college, I studied business and Chinese studies. I did a dual degree, and I actually had a couple jobs on campus. One was working for the Department of Marketing. I was also a tour guide, and I got to tour prospective students or foreign dignitaries around campus.
Hi, Patrick.
Hey,
how are you?
Doing?
Great, how are you doing?
Excellent. Good to see you again.
Thank you.
I went to work in a consulting company, but I decided to go back to graduate school to get my MBA in order to really have a deeper understanding of global management. I had a couple of jobs before I found myself at P&G, and I think by staying curious, it really enabled me to find what I was most passionate about and really end up in a place like P&G where I get to understand consumers and travel the world.
See you next time.
Take care.
I really love my job. I love it because I'm a very curious person, and as part of this job, I get to be curious. I get to really delve deep into what the consumer wants and what drives her. And also, I love that it's very global in nature. I love being able to not only work with international consumers, but even internally. I get to work with my teams around the world based in different countries. There's not a lot I dislike about my job. I feel really lucky that I fell into a role that just suits me very well, and I come to work really energized every day. If you're interested in a global career, you should really think about focusing on a few key things. One is to take international languages or courses that focus on the world in some way so that you can really broaden your horizons. Another thing would be to study abroad. I think it's the best way to learn about the world and prepare for any career. But most importantly, I think you should follow your passion. Procter & Gamble has its world headquarters in Cincinnati. P&G is such a big company in Ohio that it has a big influence on the arts, on sports, and on the rest of the community. P&G's motto is touching lives, improving life. And I feel so lucky to work for a company that is able to really make an impact on consumers in many different facets. Because we work on such big international brands, we are able to have this impact on society.